What's going on, everyone? Bobbybarks here, and welcome to the Round 6 draw for Q4's 1v1 tournament. As most of you know, we are splitting the Round 6 draw into a group stages, so that we have 32 remaining participants, and those 32 are going to be split into groups of 4 across 8 groups. So we will have 8 groups from A through to H, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And each of those groups will have 4 players in. We will take 1 player from each of the seeds that you can see on the screen. So people might be asking me, how have you decided how people are going to be seeded? And as I said in some of the commentaries from round 5, it's basically based on my knowledge of those players and how good they are. So if people are in Seed 4 and they're thinking, why am I in Seed 4? I'm a pretty decent player, I'm better than so-and-so in Seed 3 or so-and-so in Seed 1. It's because I don't really know that much about you. The people in Seed 1, I do know, are primarily FN players or very, very good pub scrubs, as people call them, type players. I've followed a lot of them for a long time. I know how good they are. They've got previous tournament experience, done really well in those tournaments. And that's kind of similar for Seed 2. I can only put 8 players in the top seed, so the people who are left over from the really good players that I know of ended up in Seed 2. So a lot of players in there like Karmatic Assassin, Believe That 18, Romance Jones, Lord Satoni, I think are people that just fell outside my knowledge and experience on the players in Seed 1. I do watch a few FN games, you know, I've played a few FN games, so I do know that the players in Seed 1 are exceptionally good players compared to the other players remaining in this tournament. So I don't want anyone to get a little bit upset about where they're sat or where they're seeded. Just remember that the tournament is for a bit of fun, and I personally, as a viewer and as an editor and as a commentator, want to see the best players, or the best players in my opinion, go up against each other towards the end of the competition. And the format that we've chosen here is very similar to what a lot of sports competitions do. FIFA World Cup, for instance, which is happening next year in Russia 2018, they have a seeding system. They've done the draw recently for that World Cup. Very similar group stages, how teams are drawn, they're in a seeding system, and this is kind of going to replicate that. A lot of other sports do something very similar. Tennis, for instance, which is usually a straight knockout competition, but they have their participants seeded so that potentially the player that's ranked number 1 in the world and the player that's ranked number 2 in the world can potentially meet up in the final. So that's the reason why I've chosen to do it like that. If you don't like it, tough shit. At the end of the day, it's my tournament and I get to do what I want. That's the advantage and the benefits of running this tournament. So that's what I want to do. So you can see on your screen who's seeded in which pot. Now let me talk to you about the rules for the group stage. So in terms of gameplay rules, we're going to keep the same rules as round 5, but we're going to bring the burst rifle back into play. I did exclude it from round 5. It was nice to see it excluded and see what other weapons people would use and how they would play the game. Felt a lot of people just naturally went to the semi or the variable. Didn't really get much variation on that. There was a couple of hunting rifles and bows and tactical shotguns and frontiers, but not too much variation from the semi and the variable. The reason why I want to bring the burst rifle back as well is I always think that the semi and the variable are kind of the primary weapons that are being used while the burst hasn't been, and bringing the burst back in just gives that paper, rock, scissors theme back to it, and people are going to say, what the hell are you talking about, Bobby? And this is always open to interpretation and opinion. My opinion is that the variable rifle can counter the burst rifle can counter the semi-automatic, and the semi can counter the variable. So that's where I get the paper, rock, scissors analogy from. Without having the burst rifle in there, we're just seeing a lot of variable versus semi. Well, I always think the semi is slightly stronger than the variable, but the burst is slightly stronger than the semi, but the variable is slightly stronger than the burst. Do you catch my drift? Paper, rock, scissors? That's kind of how I see it, and that's how I want to to do Group 6. So we're going to introduce the burst rifle back in, but all the other rules from round 5 are going to remain the same. So we're still keeping Bomb Expert out of it, and we're still keeping the shotgun out of it. I did toy with the idea of bringing Bomb Expert 3 back in, but we're going to leave it out for the time being. I'm not going to get into the details of that. People can ask me in the comments section what my thoughts were around that, or talk to me in the Discord about it, but at the end of the day, I just felt it was a bit too hard to police by having Bomb Expert 3 as opposed to Bomb Expert 1 and 2. So we're going to leave it out. Let's not worry about that for the time being. So same rules as round 5, but burst rifle reintroduced and usable again for the group stages. So let me talk to you now about how the games are played within the group stages. So you're going to have 4 players in one particular group, and those 4 players all need to play each other once. So look at the top people on screen here from each of the seeds. So let's, for instance, say Belphegor, Rothelou, Idrijokia, and Are You Scared Yet in a group. They all need to play each other once. If they win a game, then they get 3 points for the win. If they draw a game, they get 1 point for a win. And naturally, if they lose, they don't get any points. Now, that means that if you get a tie game, you don't need to replay it. It's classed as a draw. So you get 1 point each. So tie games do not need to be replayed in the group stage. So 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, 0 points for a loss. If at the end of all the games being played in that group, we have, for example, Belphegor and Rothelou on 6 points each, then whatever the difference is in their scores will determine who finishes top and who finishes second. So if you both sat on 6 points, whatever the result of the Belphegor-Rothelou game was, the winner of that will go to the top. If that game was a draw, then it will go on downs and downs against. So downs for, downs against. So if Belphegor beat Idrijokia 15-0 and Are You Scared Yet 15-0, but Rothelou beat Idrijokia 15-0 and Are You Scared Yet 14-0, then Belphegor will finish above because it get more downs for, if you catch my drift. Very, very similar to how the World Cup operates in football FIFA tournaments. Hope that is understandable. We will obviously put something in the Tournament Rules Discord channel for you there, so if you are struggling to understand or follow what I'm talking about, then go there and read that. If you're still struggling after that, then just ask an admin within the Discord and they should be able to help you out. So, with all that clear, the rules, how the group stage is going to work, I can tell you that the top 2 players from each group will go through to the last 16. I am not going to do another draw for round 7. So how we're going to work it is the top 2 players will go through. Whoever finishes first in Group A will play whoever finishes second in Group B. And it will work like that for round 7. Does that make sense? So that people have got something to play for by finishing top. So if you finish top, you play second place in the group beside you. So between Group A and B, whoever finishes top in Group A plays whoever finishes second in Group B. Whoever finishes top in Group B plays whoever finishes second in Group A. Simple as that. And then after we get past round 7 and we get to round 8, the likelihood is that we will do one final draw between the last 8 and see who's playing who. And they will just continue in a bracket towards the final. So, with that being said, I hope everything is clear. Like I say, if it's not, feel free to ask in the comments section or drop into the Discord. There's always a link to my Discord in the video descriptions. Drop into the Discord. Very, very active. A lot of people communicating in there, whether they're players, editors, commentators, administrators of the tournament. A lot of action going on in there. A lot of questions. Everything's generally answered. We have a frequently asked questions channel where a lot of repetitive questions can get answered just by looking in there. So, on to the draw then. How are we going to do it? Well, I have 4 very, very special guests who are going to help me do the draw. So the jug is making a return. We do have some cups and bowls and all other sort of things that are going to help do this draw. So we have 4 different jugs/pots that we're going to pull these names out. So we'll have all the Seed 1 players in one pot, all the Seed 2 players in another pot, etc, etc. And as I say, I have 4 very special guests who are going to help me do that draw. But to introduce you to those, I'm going to have to switch over to my phone and make my way around the living room and introduce you to these very, very special people. So I will do that now, and then after that I will come back to my computer and we'll talk through the draw of who is in what groups and what we think the likelihood is of people going through. We'll do some speculation on results and forecasts for round 6. So I'm going to switch over to my phone and I will see you on the other side. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the draw, and I'm going to introduce you to my 4 special guests. So picking names out of bowl 4 is Aria Barks.
Don't get one.
Picking names out of bowl 3 is Lexi Barks. Picking names out of bowl 2 is Alyssa Barks. And picking names out of bowl 1 is Katie Barks. These are my 4 favourite people, ladies and gentlemen. So we will start this off with Katie picking out of bowl 1. So she has seed 1s in this bowl. So she's going to pick a name out and see who will go into Group A.
Janos Maiden.
Janos Maiden. Moving on to Alyssa Barks, who will pick out seed 2 for Group A.
Romance Jones.
Romance Jones. What a silly name that is, isn't it, girls?
Yeah. Whoever came up with this is stupid.
Yep.
They're very silly.
On to Lexi Barks then, who's going to pick names out of bowl 3 for Group A. This will be the 3rd seed person.
Yeah. Logan Beast Rage.
Logan Beast Rage.
Just put it down, don't put it back in. You're going to pick one? Do you want me to read it
And
for
the
you?
last person out for Group A will be picked by Aria Barks. Aria might struggle to read these names, but she will get help from her sisters if need be. Who we got, Alyssa?
Vampinis.
Vampinis.
Hey! That's a very rude word. It's got a set at the end.
Yeah, it's got a set at the end, hasn't it? Okay, back to Katie Barks then, picking out for seed 1 in Group B. Dunkin. As in Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, that's your friend. That's it.
Picking out the 2nd seed for Group B
Alyssa.
is Alyssa Barks, yes.
Rec 3GE11.
Wreckage 11.
It's got a 3, Daddy.
Yeah, it's got a 3 instead of an E, hasn't it?
Oh.
Instead of an E. Okay, Kate, what's your name?
Lexi.
Lexi Barks is picking out for seed 3 of Group B.
Can you do it?
What's it say?
It says away something. Sun MB.
Always 1 MB.
Away, sun, and...
Yeah, always one.
Always 1
Oh yeah,
MB.
that says always.
We're done.
Not away.
I writing our names, Daddy.
I need
No, I'm writing the names down that you're picking out,
You wanna mix
sweetheart.
Is it?
So, Aria Barks then picking out for the last person in Group B.
Dun, 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 dun. Drum roll, please.
Do you want me to read it?
Who we got?
King of Kings.
King of Kings. We'll make up Group B. Okay, on to Group C now then, and picking out from pot 1.
Tintro.
Tinetro.
Yeah, that's that. I totally said that.
Tinetro. Picking out for pot 2.
Lisa.
Alyssa Barks.
I don't know what that is. Says like Rothiloo.
Rothiloo. Yeah, that's right. Rothiloo.
Pick one.
Group C, pot 3 is Jessanddc with
A name.
Nobody knows.
dun 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 dun.
Okay, start drumming. That's upside down. Frozen Oinks.
Frozen Onyx.
I like that.
No,
username.
it's
Oh,
Frozen
no.
Oinks.
I thought it said Frozen
Frozen
Oinks. That's why I went in.
Frozen Oink.
Frozen Oink. Is that a pig?
Yeah.
Is it a cold
Oink,
pig?
Oink, oink, oink. Yes.
From the Ice Age.
Oinks.
Yeah.
I actually like
Who
that.
is coming out last then in Group C? Jessanddc.
Dad, that was like the best name out of all. Is it this way? That is a long username. Do you want me to say it?
Stop saying the username.
Wait.
Why can't you say it?
Can you read it, Aria?
It says like Cyborg. Or Dave. I don't know.
Cyborg David TLOU. Cyborg David TLOU then makes up the rest of Group C.
Stop. That's my job.
Right, Jessanddc then back on with pot 1 then for Group D. We have
Bobby's swear word.
Bobby's Bell.
End.
I don't know. Is this one?
Picking out then for pot 2 Group D. Jessanddc, please reveal the name. Please reveal the name.
Karmatic Assassin.
Karmatic Assassin.
Me.
I'm surprised you didn't read that.
Jessanddc then picking out pot 3 Group D. It is
Group D. Beaten by a girl.
Beaten by a Girl.
Oh dear, that's not good.
I want to keep this one. It's like fire.
Beaten by a Girl is a bow and arrow player, and so is Karmatic Assassin. That will be an
You
interesting
need help
encounter.
reading it.
Who is left then to come out for Group D? Jessanddc, please reveal the name.
It is Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
It says Donald Trump. No, it says Queen Bee. I know, Mum's reading it. It says like MT Solidus.
Let me have a look.
It says MT Solidus.
MX. MX Solidus. That might be my handwriting, you can't read it properly.
Yeah,
I have very bad handwriting.
Go back to school.
Alexa.
Okay then, Group E, pot 1, first out is
Is that an M or an N? Belfnegor.
Belphegor.
What? Where's the F in there? That's not an F, that's a P.
No, PH is it, remember? How do you spell phone?
Oh, that's an N, it's not a H.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was like
because
an
it's capital
M.
H.
That is on an F. This is a P.
Yeah, Belphegor. PH is a
and
F,
N
remember? Who needs to go back to school?
I'm already in school.
Yeah, and you're not breaking bones. Belphegor then, Group E. Who will Belphegor play in Group E? Jessanddc from pot 2.
It will play Hillary Clinton.
Believe that 18.
Believe that's 18.
Give up, it's my turn next. Oh, right, I'm not run out.
From pot 3, Jessanddc. Who will Belphegor and Believe that play?
You put your hood up.
No. No. No, no.
Do you not want your hood up?
No.
Okay.
T1. Keep going down. Wait, you had it wrong. Complex code 717.
Complex code 717.
I hate this.
I could do this all day. I feel like a bingo card.
Number 4 then, Jessanddc. Who will they play?
I hate this. Yeah, I see a bit of it.
It's a bingo caller with names.
My hair is down. Once again. Sean.
151.
Yeah, 151.
Sean, sir.
I've got 3 more left.
As in Sean the sheep.
Sean the sheep.
Oh, yeah. Sean the sheep.
Okay then, we're on to Group F.
Has anyone got bingo yet?
Yeah.
Age in a line.
Pardon?
Bingo.
Adrenaline RT.
Adrenaline RX.
Yes, I said that. I can't read.
Lexi, does it say Sean?
Lexi, your next one will be this one.
Sean, so 1, 5.
Pot 2 then for Group F. Alyssa Barks. Who do we have?
Then Lexi back.
Is that G?
I think it says Jummer Floors.
Gumma Flores.
Down. Gumma down.
Gumma
This is pretty
Flores.
mean as well because some people, because we're pronouncing them. I didn't
Alyssa Barks. Who have we got
I didn't want.
for Group F from Pot 3?
1D right. 1D Joker.
Oh yeah, Idri Jokia.
I don't want it. Yeah, money me.
I want to read yours.
Last one then for Group F. Aria Barks. Who do we have?
Go away. Lexi, keep them here. Scrunch. No, you don't need them. No, you might. You might do another video soon.
10, 8.
We're not doing another video. You don't have to do anything with them.
Scrunch. Do you want me to read it? No, Lexi. Oh, look, I'll tell you it.
And we got Lexi.
I didn't do mine. Two-faced ghost.
Two-faced ghost.
She tried saying it.
Lexi, where are you going?
She's going to heaven.
She hasn't done yet. She hasn't got 2 more left.
Alright then, let's go to Group G then. Katie Barks, who are we picking out first?
We are picking
Well, where did you go?
Lone Wolf Free Tier
I went to heaven.
Lone Wolf.
I like that username.
Alyssa Barks, Pot 2. Oh my god, she's dropped it.
It's offensive. I'm gonna just
Pardon?
open this. I got mine. Sorry, 12.
Shari 12.
Yeah, mine is. I'm just gonna go put these in the bin.
Okay.
I don't know what it says.
Katie, can you read that for us, please?
Do you need help?
It says penetrated Ellie.
Okie doke.
Ellie, you're going in the bin.
And last one then, Aria Barks from Group G.
What's that? Bye, Ellie. I think I don't know.
Sit down, please, girls, so we can finish this.
1 minute, let me just read Aria this. I'm just gonna. Tamos 520.
James
No,
520.
You call.
Daddy, look.
Okay, last group then, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just reveal the names. We have got a dog in the mix now.
Dog.
Lenny.
Kaplani.
Dog. Lexi, where's it? Lexi. Dad, Lexi's got no more. Yes. Oh,
Yeah, she's got one left.
It's there. Because she opened it already.
Doesn't matter. There's only one left. You don't have to pull it out of the bowl. And we got Alyssa.
Lord Sir Tony.
Lord Sir Tony.
That's
on
him,
our
Prince.
street.
Really? That's him, Prince.
The Shiv Prince.
That's one is it?
And Aria Barks, who's left?
Prince. Do you want me to read it?
No, I want to read it.
No. Bingo! Bingo, I got a bingo. Me and Katie bingoed first. Hey, you're licking my toes. She's licking my toes. I'm going back with the iPad.
Who we got? Aria Barks.
Are you scared yet?
Are you scared yet?
I'm not scared yet.
That's actually a really tough group
I'm not scared yet.
for all 4 of those.
Why don't you go through them all over again so they remember? I did it.
Yes, I will do, Alyssa. Thank you very much.
Or you could just insert a picture.
Where's Lexi gone?
She's gone to play on the iPad now.
Right, that's
Here,
it then.
we'll replace Lexi.
That's it then, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to my 4 special guests.
5.
That's Lexi.
Oh, is this
5.
Lexi now?
Yeah.
5 special guests then.
We can continue.
There's nothing to continue with. You've pulled all the names out.
Right. Right. Listen
I'm
to all
going to
the
finish
names.
this up on the computer so people can see who's
No,
who.
no, you need to finish it by saying that you need to subscribe to me. Yeah.
That is all, ladies and
Subscribe to
gentlemen.
Katie.
Thank you very much. Bye
Subscribe
for
to
now.
Fox Cub. No, Fox Cub is not plastic.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with the draw for round 6, and we have in front of us the bracket cloud that is showing the groups and who's been drawn against who. Just wanted to talk through some things really and give my opinion on how things are going to go. So in Group A, we've got Janos Maiden, Romance Jones, Logan Beast Rage and Vampinis. And for me in here, Janos or Romance could win that. It was a tough call to put Janos above Romance in the seedings. And Janos is very, very skilled. Romance is also very skilled, but he's prepared to go a bit scrubby and also has a little bit of lag that we've seen in some of his games, particularly against Nick A and Zem92. So there is potential for Romance to beat Janos there. Logan Beast Rage is probably the underdog in this group. I did see his round 5 game against Will DeBill, and he was very, very impressive. Vampinis, for me, is probably the guy that is going to finish bottom out of that group. I would expect Janos and Romance to go through, but Logan Beast Rage could be a bit of a wild card there, and I think it will go down to Logan versus Janos. I think whoever wins that game is probably going to go through. Whoever loses that game is probably going to go out. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Group B then, I think this is a comfortable group for Duncan. I'll be surprised if he doesn't pick up maximum points in this. Wreckage and Always One MB are very, very close in terms of skill sets. It will be interesting to see those two play against each other, actually. King of Kings is also not a bad player, but I just think the other three have a little bit of advantage over him in terms of quality. I would expect King of Kings to finish bottom of the group and Duncan to top it, and then it could be either or Wreckage or Always One that goes through from that. Group C then, looking at this, and I can't see anything other than a straight set win for Tinetro. I'll be very, very surprised if he drops any points in here. Purist in the Game and Frozen Onyx are both bow and arrow players, which will suit Tinetro down to the ground. Rothelou is obviously his greatest threat, but out of all the Group 2 seeds, I think Rothelou is probably one of the weakest, to be fair, and Tinetro is one of the best players in this tournament. So I don't see anything other than Tinetro going through. Rothelou I do expect to finish second, and Frozen Onyx and Purist to bat it out for that third place. But I suspect Tinetro and Rothelou to go through from that. Very, very same again in Group D. Bobby's Bellends and Karmatic Assassin, two very, very good players. Beaten by a girl and Karmatic, both bow players again. Two more bow players packed together in a group. Karmatic, I think, will come out on top. MX Solidus is probably one of the strongest seed 4s that I've seen on his gameplays. He could be a bit of a dark horse within this group, and it could cause problems for both Karmatic and Bobby's Bellends if those two remain pure to their weapons. If Bobby remains pure to his hunting rifle and Karmatic remains pure to his bow and arrow, then MX Solidus could actually be the winner of that group. We'll have to see how that one pans out, but you know that is definitely a group to watch. I kind of think out of all the groups, Group D is kind of anyone's for the taking, really. Group E then, and I don't see anything other than a Belphegor believe that topping this too. Complex Code is a decent player, so is Sean So 151 to be fair, but Belphegor is something else, one of the favourites for the tournament, and believe that 18 is probably the strongest seed 2 that we put in there, so I will be very, very surprised if those two don't go through. Group F then, Adrenaline RX and Gumma Flores. I suspect those two will go through. We obviously didn't see Idrijokia in round 5 because his opponent was mute and didn't get in touch with him, and Idrijokia just kind of got through on a bit of a technicality. Bit of an unknown quantity, really. Gumma Flores did exceptionally well against Kodonrix 777 in round 5. I think that was the upset of the tournament there. I had Kodonrix 777 pegged to go very, very far in this tournament, and Gumma upset that quite comfortably as well, to be fair. So I expect Adrenaline to top the group, and I expect Gummer to finish second and go through. Two-Faced Ghost, bit of an unknown quantity again, really. Plays a lot with the Frontier or the hunting rifle, but I can't see him toppling Gummer or Adrenaline, to be fair. So I suspect number 1 and number 2 there will go through. Group G then, and this again is a very, very tight group. Lone Wolf, I'm predicting, will win the group, but he's already lost to Penetrated Ellie in this tournament. Penetrated Ellie was the one that knocked him out in round 4, but Lone Wolf got that wildcard win in that group with some of the other FN players like Pazia and Alex J. Lone Wolf came out on top of that after some very, very impressive play, and he's hit a very, very good run of form. He deposed Crimson Hawk comfortably in round 5 and sees himself in round 6 as a number 1 seed. Now, the other 3 in here are all on pretty much par with each other. Shawise and Penetrated Ellie, both very, very good players, both very, very unknown players. Penetrated Ellie is probably one of the best seed 3s that there is. And JMOS 520 again is another one that's a very, very good seed 4. So that's going to be interesting to see who finishes second in there. I think Lone Wolf will top it. I'm putting my money on Shawise now that the burst rifle's back in play. I think he will just come second, but it'll be very, very close between those 3 to take that second place. Group H then, this is just a group of death. Honestly, this could be anyone's. Now, Kaplani is the seed 1 in here, but do not underestimate any of the other 3. You know, Lord Satoni is one of the strongest seed 2s, along with Believe That 18. Zara has coming to replace the Shiv Prince. She beat the Shiv Prince very, very comfortably in an exhibition match that we had before this. The Shiv Prince wanted to withdraw from the tournament. Him and Zara played off against each other, and Zara just absolutely obliterated him. She was in round 4. She's been in the tournament all the way through, winning every game very, very comfortably, but then was missed off the round 5 draw. Not quite sure what happened. Bit of an admin error. She was missed off, and because the Shiv Prince wanted to withdraw, we give him Zara as a player just to play off against each other, and Zara absolutely annihilated him. Very, very good player. Shiv Prince was in as seed 3, so Zara's had to take that spot as a seed 3, but she could have been a seed 1. She is she's really, really good. And Are You Scared Yet is the best seed 4, probably along with MX Solidus, probably the best seed 4 in there. So that could be anyone's. Honestly, that is the group of death. I can't wait to see the game from that group. In terms of predictions, I'm going to predict Kaplani and Zara to go through, which is very, very tough on Lord Attorney and Are You Scared Yet? But I think, you know, it could be, it's that close that Lord Attorney and Are You Scared Yet could be the top 2 in that. It is that close. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I hope you've enjoyed this draw video. You know, I've shown you a different side to my life here with my children doing the draw. Please remain respectful in the comments section. And yeah, let's crack on with round 6 then, and we'll start showing you some games after Christmas. I'm going to take a bit of a break now, but we will be editing games over the Christmas period and then start releasing them towards the end of December, early January. Okay, guys. Also, for your information, I don't know if you've noticed it. You know, I've tried to publish it in as many places as possible, but we are now accepting people for the 4v4, accepting teams for the 4v4. So the sign-ups are open. There's a link in my video descriptions. If you haven't seen that already and you want to be a part of it, get together with some friends and by all means join up. It's all for a bit of fun. People have criticised some of the rules, but it's about entertainment at the end of the day, and I want the viewers to be entertained. I wanted to keep some core elements from the concept of The Last of Us multiplayer. And yeah, just have a look, ask me questions in the Discord or in the comment section about it if you want. But yeah, I hope you sign up, hope you have a good time with it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the 1v1. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.